What's going on, YouTube family? It's your boy Mike Macklin, aka Money Mike, the financial Thanos, because I'm snapping my fingers and I'm turning your financial problems to dust. Hey, I want to welcome you to my channel. I definitely appreciate each and every one of you stopping by. If this is your first time tuning in, hey, I really hope that you'll find value in what I got to say and consider hitting that subscribe button and hitting that like button as well so YouTube can know that this is great content and they'll show it to more people. Today and most Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do reaction videos to different financial videos that I'm watching. I'm always on the lookout for new information, new skill sets, things like that, especially in the financial realm, because I'm a financial coach myself. So I'm always in the learning process. So today, I'm actually watching a guy. I've been watching him a few times now, and I've done a few videos on him. And today he's talking about how to become a millionaire with consistent stock investing. So we're going to check him out a little bit. I'll add my own thoughts into this, and we'll enjoy this together. So let's get right into this thing.
Today, I want to talk a little bit about investing, specifically to people who are just starting out investing in the stock market. Oftentimes, I get questions from you guys asking, how much should I be investing? And how often should I be investing? Well, my answer to that is you should be investing often, but you only invest what you can afford to invest, right? So if $100 a month is all you have to invest, my recommendation is invest that $100 a month into solid investments.
Well, I just wanted to take a pause for the calls on that, because the first thing he said is pivotal in talking about investing. A lot of people get confused on how much they should invest, what they should invest in, things like that, and it causes them not to ever start because they keep getting caught up in the questions of it. So it's good to understand that, hey, when you invest in, again, invest what you have available. Look at your financial situation. Look at some of the money you have left over after you um, knock out your bills and everything like that, and very seriously consider investing.
And we're going to talk about some of those investments here in a second. So the most important thing to me is being consistent,
Yeah,
right? Whether you got $50, $100, $500, $5,000 to invest, that's great. That's up to you. But you have to be in the market in order to take advantage of the magic that the stock market has delivered over the last 90 years. I started that journey 20 years ago, and a little bit of money. You guys know, if you watch my channel, I started with $150 every couple weeks.
hmm
Every time I got paid, I put in 150 bucks. And then I just continually increased that amount as my income increased,
sure.
and just consistently did that. Now, I didn't know a lot about the stock market, just like many of you don't know anything about the stock market. But what
Real quick, I want to talk a little bit about what he was just talking about as far as how much to invest and another point that he made. So he was kind of talking about, just a small amount. He started out maybe 50, $100 investing into the market. But that's actually, not a bad place to start. It's a good place to get yourself just started, get yourself some information, get yourself just understanding how everything works. You don't want to dump, or as they say, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So it's good just to kind of start out small and increase kind of as your situation becomes better. Most people kind of do the wrong thing with their money when it comes to investing, and when it comes to if they get their hands on more. Most people, what they do and why they aren't able to invest is because as people's income increases, their lifestyle increases as well, meaning, they start buying more and more expensive things. And what that does is, your disposable income no longer comes into play, because if you have extra money and you basically using that to buy more and more expensive things, you're putting your money in the wrong place. and all it's doing is making somebody else richer. So I just wanted to point that out, the how he, mentioned as your income increases, your investing should increase as well. Most wealthy people would tell you, they invest heavily. So as you're doing your own, research and your own planning, I really want you guys to consider how much you're investing and gauge that as your lifestyle, becomes better and your income grows.
What I was able to do was go out online and do a little research myself and find the right investments that matched up really well with my goals, my financial goals. And I'm gonna ask you guys to do the same thing. So I'm no stock picking or stock market expert. I'm just a guy who figured out that if the wealthiest people in this country are invested in the stock market, then I probably should be invested in the stock market as well. So what should you be invested in? Now, that's going to...
Real quick, he hit on a point that made a lot of sense to me, and it should make more sense to other people. When we look at investing, I've talked to people over the years and kind of got their thoughts on investing, and I've been guilty of it myself as well. When I first joined the military, as I was going through the military, one of the things that some of my leadership approached me about was investing into a 401k. And one of the objections I had to it, one is that I didn't want to wrap my money up into something I couldn't immediately get my hands on. With a 401k, or the TSP as they call it in the Army, the Thrift Savings Plan, in order for you to get some of that money, you have to take a loan out against it. Because of my lack of financial knowledge at the time, that pretty much was a deterrent to me. And I was like, listen, well, I just don't want to do it, because I don't want to do that. But as I became older and I started, my financial journey and my financial freedom journey, I started to understand, that success leaves clues. And like the gentleman was saying, you see most people that are wealthy, they're investing. And that's not a coincidence. If all the people who have, tons of money is doing things like investing, why is it that most of us who aren't making a lot of money, why aren't we doing that to get ourselves in a better place? So it's just a point that kind of stuck with me as he was talking about that. And I wanted to mention that, to my audience to kind of encourage you guys, hey, if you're not investing, please seriously consider it, because as they say, success leaves clues. And if you see wealthy people investing, then that's probably a clue of how they got to where they are.
Going to be different for everybody, guys. And again, I can't tell you what to invest in, but let me tell you what I invest in. So if I got $1 and I want to invest that dollar, this is how I invest it. I'm going to take 50 cents of that dollar and I'm going to invest it in the broader stock market. Things like the S&P 500 ETF or index fund. And the reason I want to put that 50 cents in the broader stock market is because I want some diversification, and I want to have as many blue chip companies as possible as the foundation for my stock market portfolio. And instead of me trying to go out and pick 500 companies on my own, I will simply go to a S&P 500 ETF or index fund to do that, because they've already picked those 500 companies and they're just mirroring the S&P 500 index. Companies like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, Facebook, Tesla, Home Depot, Walmart, to name a few. So you got the top 500 companies in America in that fund. And that's where I'm going to put 50% of that dollar, or 50 cents of that dollar. Why? Because that's the foundation for growing my wealth, right? And it's spread over 500 of the top companies in America in every industry and every sector.
All right.
Now, 30 cents of my dollar is going to go to a sector ETF, technology, oil and gas, consumer discretionary,
right,
healthcare, Those represent sectors. I like the tech sector. So I'm going to take 30 cents of my dollar and I'm going to put it in something like a Vanguard Information Technology, VGT. And the reason I want to do that, because I think tech is a fast growing industry. And the companies, or a lot of the companies that are going to be in that ETF, that tech ETF, are going to be growing. And I want growth in my portfolio. That's a little bit more concentrated than my S&P 500 ETF, but that's okay. I need that growth.
Right.
So I'm going to go with a sector ETF with 30 cents of my dollar. The last 20 cents of my dollar, I may go ahead and dabble in some individual stocks. But again, those individual stocks are going to be in industries that I know and I'm comfortable with. Since I got 25 years of banking experience, my 20 cents of my dollar goes to bank stocks like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase. You know, 3 of the largest banks in the United States. That's where I'm going to invest 20 cents of my dollar. So 50% of my dollar goes to an S&P 500 broader stock market ETF. 30% of my dollar goes to a sector ETF.
Okay.
Like a Vanguard Information Technology, VGT.
Sure.
And then the last 20% goes to individual stocks of companies that I know, I understand, and I like. What I want to tell you guys is, you got to make that same determination, right? You got to figure out what are you going to do with your dollar. While you figure that out, I would be telling you doing this. Keep earning your income, keep your expenses low, and invest as much money as you possibly can. That's the key, right? You have to continue to invest consistently if you want to take part in the magic of the stock market. And that magic is just simply compounding effect of the stock market. Taking a little bit of money, putting it in consistently over time will build your wealth, guys. I'm telling you something from experience of 20 years of doing this. It will build your wealth if you do it correctly. Again, if you haven't taken advantage of that Webull offer.
All right. I think I'm going to end this here. So just to kind of close out and cap on what he was saying here, he's really trying to explain how he would break down every dollar that he uses. I talk about this a lot in my own personal finance discussions about how you allocate your money, what jobs you give your money. That's what I best explain it as. Every dollar that I make, I treat it as an employee, meaning it's going to do some kind of work for me, whether it be leisure, whether it be investing, whether it be expenses, whether it be savings. Every dollar that I have has a job. And this is a simple way of keeping your eye on your money. Now, getting into what he's specifically talking about here, he's talking about how he wants to allocate his money. And all allocation means is just how he's spreading it out or where he's putting his money. So I like where he was going. I like what he was talking about. And I kind of like the methodology he uses. You want to put a majority into something that's safe, like an index fund, something that historically has performed well over the whole time of its inception. A common thing that I use to explain about investing in, pretty much I invest in what he was talking about, the S&P 500, and that's the 500 top companies in America. So essentially, investing in the S&P 500, you're basically betting on America. So America ain't failed yet, and I don't see America failing anytime in the future. Say what you want about the country, but I tell you this, we have a strong economic system. It works pretty well, and I don't see it going anywhere. And if you've looked throughout history, you've also seen that the government pretty much, they're not going to let these companies really go anywhere. Through bailouts or through whatever they want to do, they'll find a way to help the economy and keep it going. So with that in mind, I'm confident enough to invest in the S&P 500 or an index fund, because again, you're betting on America. So, I mean, I don't see it going nowhere. And, you know, a lot of people that I know that invest and that I've watched, they also, you know, pretty much say the same thing. Now, the second thing he was talking about is 30% going into sectors. Another thing that I like, I also invest in sectors myself. That's pretty much a majority of my investment portfolio is different sectors. And that was something I learned from my mentor. You know, she taught me about, you know, putting your money into different parts, just based off of understanding getting index funds. And that's just, you know, getting a group of stocks instead of trying to, you know, guess, you know, what's going to do well. When you get a group of stocks, even if one thing doesn't go great, you still doing well because other ones, you know, will kind of make up for that. And finally, he talked about the last 20% he would kind of use kind of speculating, where he would, you know, buy things that he was interested in or he knew about. Another thing that I use to explain that is, again, if something is good enough for you to shop it, then obviously it's good enough to own. You know, so this goes into, you know, the investing in maybe places like Walmart or different banks, or, you know, basically anywhere that you might shop. If they offer a stock, I would seriously consider purchasing that stock, because again, if it's good enough for you to patronize, meaning good enough for you to shop there, then obviously, you know, it's probably a company you believe in, you like, you know, you find value in. And so I would, you know, I would bet on that. I would bet on, you basically like you betting on yourself, you betting on what you like. So with all that in mind, I equate all this into the same kind of categories as I do my own personal finances. You know, you have a lane for all your different investments. And, you know, the speculative part is the same thing as I call my play money. You know, I put it wherever I want to. And, you know, the same with that 20%. You know, you put that into where you want to. And the last point I want to make is probably the strongest point. And that's, again, just to support why investing is important and why you don't have to have a lot to invest. Again, the power of compound interest. That's interest on top of interest. It's going to be only a matter of time. Now, it may take longer if you're not able to put a lot in there, but don't let that discourage you. Your life situation may change for the better, you know, sooner than later. And you can, you know, invest a lot more, or you can invest a little more. But the way compound interest works, it's just only a matter of time before you're going to reach that goal. A lot of people, when they get into investing, they don't look at the long term. They look at, okay, I want my money to double like in a year or something like that, which is crazy, because nobody can really guess a company that's going to do that well that quickly. And most companies don't do that well that quickly. So the best option for you is just, you know, hey, just bet on America, bet on what you know, and bet on places that you shop on. So at least you have some kind of methodology to it, because otherwise, again, you just giving away money. And this is how most people lose, is because they're trying to guess the next big thing. Historically, 99% of you know, stockbrokers and things like that, they can't beat the market. It's just they don't have the skill set. You can't predict that. So, you know, Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors out there, he pretty much says, hey, listen, you know, stop trying to beat the market and just play the market. You know, bet on the market. And so that would be my advice to you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you got value. I enjoyed it. It follows a lot of what I suggest to people anyway when I'm talking to them. And so, hey, if you like this video, if you enjoyed the content, hey, please, you know, hit that like button so more people can see this. You know, leave a comment below. And I definitely appreciate, again, each and every one of you stopping by. Please subscribe to my channel. Take care of yourselves. God bless you all. Peace.
Damn, I ain't been broke in a minute.